and welcome to Alpha Academia, the complete college admissions adventure. Today's session, we're going to focus on your college essays. In this session, we'll review the purpose of a college essay. We'll strategize about how to write all of your essays, because you're almost certainly going to be writing more than one of them. We're going to talk about organization like we do in a lot of the other topics here. And we're going to discuss some of the possible ways that you come up with essay topics. I'll suggest an outline for your standard 500-word essay. You'll write at least one of these. And then we'll go over some strategies and tips for editing and polishing to make sure that this essay is the best foot you can put forward. The purpose of a college essay is to give the admissions committee a window into your personality that isn't otherwise reflected elsewhere in your application packet. It's also a writing sample. I mean, you are going to college, you are going to be writing papers. The admissions committees are going to want to see that you can string some words together into a sentence, some sentences into a coherent paragraph, and put a couple of paragraphs together to complete an entire chain of thought. It's also evidence of some interest of yours that isn't otherwise reflected in the application. You might also understand that it's a way that a college can understand how interested you are in them. What do I mean by that? Well, when we get further in this session, we'll talk about how you talk about in your essay why you want to go to a specific college. This is important because colleges want to know that they aren't number 6 of 8 on your list. They want to know that they're the number 1 school that you want to go to. Now, of course, that's not true for all of your schools, but you're not going to let on to that fact in your college essay. The essay is also perhaps the single biggest impact item in your college application that you can still control this late in the game. What do I mean by that? Well, your transcript is probably pretty close to done. Your scores are your scores, your class rank is your class rank. The extracurriculars that you have done, they're done. The awards that you have won, you've won them. Your SAT scores and those things, you're probably getting those now, but there's probably not a lot you can do to get those really high up there. But the essay is a way that you can shine and that you can put together right now. So, given that there's this much weight on this, let's talk about how to get this done. The name of the game here is how to write the fewest possible essays. Why? Because fewer essays equals more time that you spend writing each one of them. This is also where we talk about organization again. Gather all of the college applications that you're going to submit. Go back to that spreadsheet that talks about what the elements of each application are and what the colleges need. Go to the section of that spreadsheet where you looked and noted what essays and short answers each college wanted as part of their application. Now, your goal is to try to write down all of the essays and short answers that you have to do. So make one giant list. Say you need 3 personal statements for 3 different schools. You need X, Y, and Z prompts. Something about express a time in your life when there was leadership, or something about tell me who you would go to lunch with if you could go to lunch with anyone on the planet, dead or alive. That's happened before. Things like this. Come up with a list of all of the essays that you have to write. Now, visualize trying to get that list down by grouping these different prompts and different potential essays into as few groups as possible that could all potentially be written to the same essay. So what do I mean by that? Well, for example, if 3 of your schools all require a personal statement, you're probably going to submit the same personal statement to all 3 schools. Now, if a 4th school requires an essay about, say, for example, tell us something about a time in your life when you did something difficult and how you got through it, there's a way you could probably write that personal statement for the other 3 essays to answer this prompt too, and therefore all 4 essays are the same. Beginning to catch my drift here? Your goal is to make one essay work across as many applications as possible. Now, of course, you can't submit the same essay twice to the same school, but the idea is to try to write as few essays as you can and hit as many schools as you can with them. Some of them are going to require minor tweaks, particularly that part where you talk about why I want to go to this particular school. There is no worse faux pas than submitting to school A, I want to go to school B because you didn't make that tweak in your actual essay. So, because the goal is to write a few good essays instead of a bunch of mediocre ones, you do want to spend a good amount of time right here coming up with how to group these essays. Now, part of grouping these essays is coming up with essay topics that might satisfy these different prompts and these different requirements. Start by brainstorming anecdotes from your life that you could write in roughly 5 to 6 sentences, a paragraph. No more than half of a page, double-spaced. Why am I telling you to do this? Well, most successful essays start out with something catchy or grabbing to get the reader's attention. The idea here is you want to do that, but you want to do it briefly, and you want to do it about you. So, come up with a couple of anecdotes from your life that you can write in a paragraph that are catchy, that get someone's attention, and that you will be able to then parlay into a discussion about a larger topic. The idea is that you can take these anecdotes and connect them to themes about your life's past activities, what you hope to do in college, and then potentially what you hope to do beyond. The perfect essay goes through past, present, and future. Yeah, there's a lot of work to be done here. This is not just sit down and pump out 500 words. Can you come up with a clever first sentence? So yeah, now I'm telling you, write 5 to 6 sentences and make sure the first one is particularly clever. Again, one that evokes a mental image. Try to the idea is you don't tell the reader something. You want to show the reader something. Within that first paragraph, you want that person to be running a movie reel in their mind. Now, also when you're looking at essay topics, think about things that are not otherwise reflected in your college application. So, for example, if you spent all of your extracurriculars talking about sports and music, maybe you don't write about the big game as your college essay. It's kind of dull. We get it. You're an athlete. Everyone had that big game. Now, if you're an Olympian, I might give you a pass. But even then, probably not, because that's also probably on your resume and everyone gets it. So, some ideas to get you thinking. One prompt I once saw a student have to write to was, what is the greatest challenge facing your generation, and what are you doing about it? And what you see below here is what that student wrote. Take a second and read it. I am not Angelina Jolie or Condoleezza Rice. Fair. Or Oprah Winfrey. It goes on and talks about how this particular student isn't a star in any sense of the word. However, she wants to make a difference. And she sees the greatest challenge facing her generation is one of making a difference and being felt to be important, despite not necessarily being one of those big names. This is a particularly useful essay topic, especially when we're talking about a student who, for example, isn't the valedictorian, isn't the star quarterback, isn't likely to head on to med school. This person can still write a really powerful essay to this prompt and still talk about themselves. This essay actually went on to talk about some really interesting things, like, for example, how this person got involved with the Build-A-Bear store doing a cancer research fundraiser, and just the ability to feel purpose in a very simple way. It evokes an image. Build-A-Bear, cancer patients, just working out and doing this because your friend went through cancer, not too long ago. These are the sorts of things you can see how any student can write a good college essay. Let's see another one. So in this essay, the idea is to, and you want to do at least one of these essays for every one of your college applications. This is a typical essay that attempts to take a personal story and then translate it into past activities, what the student wants to do in college, and then what the student is likely to do in the future. Now, I love this first line. Let's do exercises. Yeah, the misspelling is on purpose. And you see that immediately in the rest of the paragraph, because it's a small child working with her grandfather in the hospital trying to get him to do physical therapy after he had been admitted. And she was the only one who could get him to do his exercises because he was a little on the stubborn side. Now, this cute image of a little child charming her grandfather by his hospital bed into doing his rehabilitation exercises is absolutely the sort of thing that evokes an image in a college application reader's mind. So where does it go from here? Well, the essay goes on from here to talk about how this student always had an interest in rehab, how the student was themselves a student athlete and faced a significant injury, worked through it, and decided that they wanted to go to school to study biology, biomechanics, and physical therapy. Perfect. And they could write that perfect paragraph about how a given school had exactly that program for them to study in. They could then go on in their last paragraph to talk about what they wanted to do with that degree and what use and purpose they would fulfill. You can see how the beginning topic, the beginning anecdote, gets worked into a theme for the entire essay, and it makes a beautiful line from past, present, and future, and talks exactly why this student belongs in college, because she wants to get a degree that's going to help her pursue her passion to help people. Okay, I know that seems like a lot, so we're going to take a little bit of a break here, and when you're ready, please proceed to the next video, and we'll hit